Who comes to mind when you think of the greatest singers of all time? If you're a fan of classic soul, chances are you'll say Gladys Knight without missing a beat. She's a legend, but while her life was filled with remarkable achievements, the ending of her story is one that feels more like a haunting tale. In today's video, we'll take you through the inspiring rise and tragic conclusion of the woman known as the Empress of Soul, Gladys Knight. Gladys was born on May 28, 1944, in Atlanta, Georgia. Her parents, Merrill Woodlow Knight Sr., a postal worker, and Sarah Elizabeth, welcomed her into a vibrant musical household. She was one of 6 children in a close-knit family that included her siblings David, affectionately called Billy, Merrill Jr., nicknamed Bubba, and Brenda. There's a common myth that Gladys wasn't her real name, but we're here to set the record straight. Gladys was indeed the name she was given at birth. While it may sound unique, it wasn't an industry reinvention, it was her identity from day one. But how did she discover that music was her true calling? From the start, Gladys was surrounded by the sounds of love and gospel. Her parents' involvement in the famous gospel choir Wings Over Jordan had a profound effect on her. Inspired by them, she began singing gospel music herself at just 4 years old, performing at the Mount Moriah Baptist Church. By the time she was 7, Gladys was regularly performing at church and school events, even singing with the Morris Brown College Choir. Her voice stirred something deep in the hearts of those who heard her, a raw, unexplainable talent that hinted she was destined for greatness. That same year, she won a local talent contest called the Original Amateur Hour by performing a Nat King Cole classic. But the moment that truly sparked her musical journey came during a birthday party for her brother Bubba in 1952. When their record player broke, Gladys, Bubba, their sister Brenda, and cousins Eleanor and William decided to entertain the guests themselves. Their impromptu performance amazed everyone, especially their mother, Elizabeth Knight, who immediately encouraged them to form a singing group. And so, the Pips were born, named after their cousin James Pip Woods. From there, Gladys Knight and the Pips began performing around Atlanta, a city rich in musical heritage. They sang at community events, churches, and clubs, slowly earning a name for themselves. Their performances were packed with soul, energy, and emotion, a unique mix of gospel intensity and R&B rhythm. Their local popularity soared as they won talent shows throughout Atlanta. In 1957, their hard work paid off. They signed their first record deal with Brunswick Records. Gladys wasn't even a teenager yet, and she was already sharing the stage with legends like Jackie Wilson and Sam Cooke. But the road to fame wasn't smooth. Their debut recording with Brunswick flopped, leaving the group heartbroken. Still, they pressed on. They expanded the group to include cousins Edward and Langston, and soon after, their fortunes began to change. The 1960s marked a golden era for the Pips, filled with hit after hit. But what was it that truly set them apart in a sea of rising talent? It was authenticity. Their performances radiated joy, passion, and sincerity. Their music wasn't just about catchy tunes, it was a reflection of who they were. Audiences didn't just hear their music, they felt it. That deep connection became their superpower. In 1961, they released what would become their breakthrough hit, "Every Beat of My Heart." The song captured hearts across the country, but it almost didn't make it. At the time, they were struggling without the backing of a major label. Promotion and distribution were limited. But one small Atlanta label, Huntum Records, took a chance and pushed the single forward. They secured a distribution deal with VJ Records, then one of the biggest independent labels in the nation. The impact was immediate. Every Beat of My Heart soared up the charts, eventually reaching number 1, 6 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song didn't just introduce the world to Gladys Knight and the Pips, it made them stars. From there, their music played on radios across the country, and the soulful voice of a young girl from Atlanta was on its way to becoming an iconic part of American music history. The chart-topping success of Every Beat of My Heart was no small feat, especially for a group in its early stages like Gladys Knight and the Pips. Their breakout hit signaled the beginning of a major turning point in their career. In a bold move, the group set their sights on the musical epicenter of the world, New York City. There, they achieved another milestone by signing with Fury Records. This wasn't just a simple change in label or location. It marked a pivotal transformation that would launch them into the heart of the industry. Fury Records offered far more than a bigger platform. It was here that the group met Bobby Robinson, who became a key mentor. Robinson immediately recognized their raw talent and limitless potential. Under his guidance and with the label's resources, they found the tools, support, and, most importantly, the exposure they needed to grow artistically. They re-recorded Every Beat of My Heart under the Fury label, breathing new life into the song and pushing its success even further. As 1966 approached, the Pips realized just how far they had come. It was time to elevate their career to the next level. That opportunity came when they signed with Motown Records in 1966. At the time, Motown wasn't just a label. It was a cultural powerhouse, producing hits for the most legendary names in music. Joining Motown was the opportunity of a lifetime, but it came with a significant challenge. They had to prove themselves all over again. You might wonder why. After all, they were already a recognized act, but compared to the Motown giants, they were still newcomers, like a single star against a sky full of constellations. In their early Motown days, they were seen as underdogs. Surrounded by musical icons, they had to fight to earn their place. But Gladys Knight and the Pips didn't shy away from the challenge. Instead, it fueled their determination to stand out and rise to the top. Their breakthrough came with the release of I Heard It Through the Grapevine in 1967. The song spotlighted Gladys Knight's commanding vocals, backed by the dynamic harmonies of the Pips. It quickly climbed the charts and became a cultural anthem of the era. Just when audiences thought they might slow down, they released another hit that cemented their legacy. I Heard It Through the Grapevine wasn't just a success. It was a game changer that turned them from rising stars into one of Motown's most beloved and profitable acts. Their rising fame earned them a coveted spot touring with Diana Ross and the Supremes, one of the biggest acts of the time. But with fame came friction. Reports suggested that the Pips' high-energy, soul-stirring performances often outshined the headlining act, leading to tension during the tour. Balancing their respect for the Supremes while handling their own growing popularity became a delicate challenge. In 1973, they made a bold move. They left Motown Records and signed with Buddha Records. This decision marked another turning point in their career. While Motown had played a crucial role in launching them into stardom, Buddha Records offered what they were truly seeking: greater artistic freedom and fairer financial arrangements. At Buddha, they were no longer constrained. Here, they recorded some of their most iconic tracks, songs that would come to define their musical legacy. One shining example was Midnight Train to Georgia. The ballad, rich in emotion and storytelling, captured the hearts of fans around the world. It topped not only American charts, but also international ones, elevating the group from national fame to global superstardom. Their momentum didn't stop there. They followed up with another major hit, The Best Thing That Ever Happened to Me, which continued their successful formula, Gladys taking the lead, with the Pips delivering powerful backing vocals. These songs didn't just prove their popularity, they established Gladys Knight and the Pips as enduring icons. Their music transcended entertainment. It became a symbol of artistic excellence and cultural pride. All of this happened during a time, the 1960s and 70s, when America was deeply divided by racism and inequality. In an era when women were expected to remain in the home and had limited roles in society, Gladys Knight shattered those expectations. She became more than just a performer. She was a beacon of hope. People saw her as living proof that no matter how difficult the circumstances, success was still within reach. Her story showed that if you held on to hope and worked hard, one day, opportunity would find you, and when it did, you had to be ready to take control. That's the lasting message Gladys Knight and the Pips gave to the world. Their music broke through racial and cultural boundaries, attracting a wide and devoted audience. During this time, the group earned multiple Grammy Awards, clear recognition of their extraordinary talent, relentless effort, and influence on the music world. While still performing with the Pips, Gladys Knight joined forces with Dionne Warwick, Stevie Wonder, and Elton John in 1985 to record the AIDS benefit anthem, "That's What Friends Are For." The track became a major hit, earning 3 Grammy Awards and cementing itself in pop culture history. In 1986, Knight teamed up once again with Warwick, as well as Patti LaBelle, for the HBO special Sisters in the Name of Love, delivering a memorable performance that celebrated unity and female empowerment. Knight's solo career reached new heights in 1991 when she released her third and most successful album, Good Woman, under MCA Records. The album climbed the R&B charts and featured the hit track Superwoman, penned by Babyface and featuring both Dionne Warwick and Patti LaBelle. This song also earned a Grammy nomination. That same year, Knight and LaBelle collaborated on another ironically titled track, I Don't Do Duets, which was, in fact, a duet. Few people know that in 1991, Knight performed the national anthem at the opening game of the World Series, an honor reserved for the most respected voices in America. Her fourth solo album, Just For You, released in 1994, achieved gold status and went on to be nominated for Best R&B Album at the 1995 Grammy Awards. Knight's influence extended beyond music. In 2009, she sang The Lord's Prayer and His Eye is on the Sparrow during Michael Jackson's funeral, offering a soulful tribute to the King of Pop. In 2013, she recorded You and I Ain't Nothin' No More for the soundtrack of Lee Daniels' film, The Butler. The song, produced and written by Lenny Kravitz, was another example of her timeless vocal power. In a 2014 interview, Knight openly expressed concern about the direction of the music and entertainment industries, especially the increasing focus on selling sex. She urged women to value self-respect and presentation, famously saying, "Don't take it off, wear it." For her, dressing appropriately for the audience was part of honoring the stage and the art. Due to her incredible contributions and lasting impact, Knight was ranked #1 on VH1's list of the 100 greatest women in music. Despite her public success, Gladys Knight's personal life was not without controversy and hardship. She faced a number of personal struggles and made some difficult choices along the way. However, it was these very challenges that shaped her into the resilient and remarkable artist we know today. So what exactly were the trials that made her personal life so difficult? Let's explore. One of the criticisms often directed at Gladys Knight is her 4 marriages. But let's be clear, she didn't marry them all at once. Each relationship happened at a different stage in her life. Her first marriage was to James Newman, which began when Gladys was just 16 years old. At that young age, she was navigating both the early stages of adulthood and the beginning of her music career. This marriage, while romantic, was also a partnership formed during a pivotal period in both of their lives. However, it soon became clear that their relationship wasn't without its struggles. Like any devoted mother, Knight was deeply affected when she suffered a miscarriage early in the marriage. Despite this heartbreaking loss, she eventually gave birth to 2 children. You might think that starting a family would have strengthened the bond between them, but that wasn't the case. As Knight's fame grew, so did the pressures on their marriage. Newman developed a drug addiction, which eventually led him to abandon the family entirely. Left to raise 2 children on her own, Knight made the tough decision to step away from her career and stop touring for a time. This sacrifice highlighted just how devoted she was as a mother, willing to put her rising career on hold to care for her kids. Eventually, she returned to the stage, resuming her work with the Pips and reigniting her passion for music. After years of separation, she and Newman finalized their divorce in 1973. Tragically, Newman passed away a few years later, but life wasn't finished with its tests. In 1974, Gladys married Barry Hankerson, a well-known music executive and founder of Blackground Records. The couple had a son together, Shanga Ali Hankerson, born on August 1, 1976. Sadly, their marriage ended in 1979 after a contentious custody battle. Knight's love for her son was so profound that, when he was kidnapped, she reportedly spent over $1 million in an effort to find him. In 1995, she married a motivational speaker, but that union also ended in divorce just 2 years later. Finally, in 2001, she married William McDowell. Together, they share a large blended family with 17 grandchildren and 10 great-grandchildren. One of the more personal and painful struggles Knight has openly faced is her battle with gambling addiction. For more than a decade, she struggled with this habit, at one point losing $60,000 in a single night at a baccarat table in the late 1980s. Realizing the toll it was taking, she sought help through Gamblers Anonymous and was able to break free from the addiction. Spiritually, her journey was just as dynamic. After being a Baptist and then converting to Catholicism, she eventually joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in 1997, following the conversions of her son and daughter. Known for her light-hearted nature, she once joked that LDS Church President Gordon B. Hinckley's followers should put more energy into their singing. But her comment was in good spirit. Her involvement with the LDS Church led to the creation of the Grammy-winning gospel choir, Saints Unified Voices. Knight herself directed the choir at the B1 celebration, commemorating the 140th anniversary of the priesthood revelation. Now approaching her 80s, Gladys Knight remains a towering presence in the music industry. Her career, which spans more than 3 decades, continues to inspire and influence generations. Unlike many of her contemporaries who have faded from public memory, she remains beloved and relevant. Despite her iconic status, Knight's later years have been anything but peaceful. In 2016, she was hit with a lawsuit from a Georgia group home, which claimed she failed to repay a $45,000 loan used to help save her son's struggling restaurant. That wasn't the only legal or financial difficulty. Reports of money troubles and disputes within her own family regarding her estate have only added to her stress. Sadly, those closest to her have at times appeared more interested in her wealth than her well-being. It's a painful irony. After a lifetime of success and hard-earned achievements, Gladys now finds herself surrounded by greed and legal battles. One has to wonder, what's the point of having so much wealth if it brings no peace? These thoughts weigh heavily on her, making the twilight of her life feel more like a quiet tragedy than a celebration.